Oh na 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 na. Bam bam. Oh na 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 na. Bam bam. Oh na 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 na. Bam bam. Oh na 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 na. Big it up. Oh na 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 na. Big it up. Oh na 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 na. Bam bam. Bam 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 bam. Bam bam bam. Bam bam bam. Bam 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 bam. Bam bam bam. Bam 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 bam.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Home and Away Jamaica, where we connect Jamaica with the diaspora. I am Robert Taylor, Taylor Law, and I'll be going solo today. Paulette is unavoidably absent, and I would like to welcome Mr. Jermaine Williamson. He's Senior Valuer and Realtor at Victoria Mutual Building Society. Welcome, Jermaine. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm quite fine, you know.
Well, glad to hear. Jermaine, what we want to talk about today, VMBS has a very long history and legacy in our diaspora communities, both in the UK and the US and Canada. You had a Diaspora Web Expo, I think just last week, where you spoke about how to connect Jamaicans with the rock, how to have Jamaicans living abroad participate in a lot of the positive things that are happening in the real estate industry in Jamaica. Tell us a little bit about that expo and some of the interests that you had.
All right, so VMBS has a series of expos. So it's actually 3 expos for the diaspora community. So we have had 2 sessions already, and the third one is coming up. I think it's October 31st, somewhere thereabout, but don't hold me to that. But we have had 2 sessions already. It was very successful. We introduced our products to the people in the diaspora. We tried to make it as realistic as possible to them in terms of investing in the rock, as you call it just now, and just to work out some of the kinks that people would generally fear in terms of investing in real estate in Jamaica. The feedback was good. It was an interactive session, so we got questions on the fly and we addressed them as best as possible, and we would have given them, would have referred them to wherever there's additional information. It was pretty successful.
Tell me, Jermaine, how do you gauge the interest in Jamaica in the diaspora communities now, particularly in this COVID period, maybe prior to, let's say, compared to a year ago? Are you finding that the interest in Jamaica is subdued? Do you find there's a peak in interest in Jamaica? How can you gauge that?
Well, Robert, I tell you that we have not experienced a fall off in terms of market activity in Jamaica. There are numerous developments going up, and there continues to be more development coming on stream, and these units are selling at record prices. There's an upward trend in the prices, and we have seen that in valuations as well, where there are appreciation in values as a result of these new developments, not just for new developments, but for the existing stock. So far, we have not seen any fall off in market activity, and our numbers, and I can speak specifically for Victoria Mutual Property Services, where I sit as a valuer. Our numbers in terms of valuations that we do for mortgage clients, there's no decrease at this point.
So similar to what's happening in the US, for example. And so what that probably is signaling is that the demand continues to outstrip the supply of housing. And
Exactly.
So until supply continues to lag, we're still going to find this robust interest in purchasing and a somewhat uptick in prices.
Definitely. For us in Jamaica, supply has been lagging behind demand for a long time, and we're still not at that point where we can say there's sufficient supply in the market to cause a slowing down or a plateau, so to speak, of activities. So definitely you'll find that there's effective demand because mortgage rates are now at a record low, and lending institutions are doing more than what they used to do before. For now, for a diaspora community, Victoria Mutual gives a 90% mortgage. Well, we cover 90% of the sale price, which is, well, it could be 90% of the valuation or the sale price, right? So, and for our local community, you will find that institutions go up to about 100%, 95% in general. But we're specifically talking to our diaspora community, so we do 90% for
diaspora. Of your interest rates?
Well, it varies because we have the U.S. representative office and we have Canada, and we have in the UK, so it varies. But in general, though, I can say we are at a record low.
So rates have been in the single digits for some time.
And
certainly for somebody of my generation who recalls, came of age in the 1990s. I remember when interest rates were close to in the mid-20s, hovering in the mid-15%. So, when I hear of rates at 7.5%, 8%, it's almost unheard of.
Yeah, but it's actually, well, because the US dollar mortgages, they're about 4.25, I think they're about somewhere in the 4 to 5% region. As I said, because of the exchange rate, it will be a little different for those in the UK and somewhere about the same margin for those in Canada.
So it seems then that there are a number of variables that stack in favor of, persons who are living abroad, either coming back home or just simply using the opportunity to invest in Jamaica.
I tell you, one of the major advantages for people in the diaspora is and it's a sad case, but the devaluation of the dollar.
Yes, so the exchange rate.
Yes, so it works in their favor, as they would need to come up with less funds to do a purchase here versus somebody here. There's an advantage. So it is a resilient market, and the Jamaica market has always proven to be resilient. We be it through capital appreciation or rental income. It's a very good time to invest in the rock.
Are you finding, Jermaine, with the increased interest, particularly with Jamaican buyers being more exposed to what takes place in other developed markets, the product, persons who live in the diaspora also having become accustomed to a particular living standard? Are you finding that the developers have responded and lifted the bar in relation to the products that they're offering?
Most definitely. I from where I sit as a valuer, I go into these developments all the time, and I tell you, the products, they are superior. They are superior to what we are accustomed to in terms of finishes, amenities, and the general layout of the development. So I think the developers have upped their game, and that is one of the reasons for the continued interest in these newer developments.
Now, would you say, and my view has always been that comparatively, when we look, let's say, at beachfront land in Treasure Beach and we look at beachfront land in the Bahamas, you know, invariably, or in the Cayman Islands, those prices are 3 to 4 times more than you would find similar properties in Jamaica. Is it your view that our property prices still remain relatively undervalued to some of our other Caribbean?
I would not make that comparison because it's a total different economy. And as I said, there's a lot of factors. You know, you have the exchange rate, you have the taxes, you have the actual the financial capability of your mass. So
Right.
you know, you find that it may be a different. Well, I'm sure the economic situation is different in Cayman, Bahamas versus Jamaica, but we have properties in Jamaica though that is on par with those. So you find that if you the South Coast in Jamaica is on its way, it has not yet attain or obtain its full potential. It's not there as yet. It has not achieved its full potential as yet. But the North Coast, I assure you that the prices that we're seeing along the North Coast are on par with what you would find in the Cayman Islands, in Bahamas, in Barbados.
So you I guess you're positing that there still is opportunity to find value in Jamaica.
Definitely, there's a lot of areas of opportunity, and as a real estate investor or developer, whatever role you want to play in this market, you have to look for opportunities. It is not just a market for buying a personal home. It is a market for buying investment properties. And you have to be able to see in the medium to long term to benefit fully from what is available.
We particularly in our discussions with persons in the diaspora community recognized in maybe the last 20 or 30 years, there was this trend or preference for persons buying land in communities, you know, that they grew up in. And they left maybe 30, 40 years ago, or they had a parent that grew up in a particular community or district. And the stories have not been good. What we have done in the show and in our interaction is recommended persons moving into more structured developments with amenities, some of them gated, new construction. So rather than buying land and sending money home to a contractor whose reputation and experience is unknown, you stick with an experienced developer. What are your thoughts on that process?
Well, I will start by saying I thank the diaspora community for investing in some of their hometown communities, because it has we while there are some bad stories, we have definitely seen the benefits of some of these communities actually evolving from a lower income area to a lower middle or a middle income area by nature of the type of development in that community. So the diaspora community has helped to evolve a lot of communities in Jamaica, and we really thank them for that. However, of recent, the matter of security has become a major concern, and one would want to be living in a safe community primarily, and then you can actually if it's for retirement, you can enjoy your full lifespan, so we are seeing a shift towards gated communities. We have also been seeing a shift in terms of rate of appreciation. Now, people are more thinking of, what is the long-term benefit of my investment. So they would look at their community that they grew up in, and they said, all right, if I put this structure here versus putting it somewhere else, they are making more informed decisions. So, you know, it is not something I would dissuade someone from doing the investment in their hometown, but it must be carefully thought through. And as I said, look at this as an investment and the return on your investment. Also ensure that what you are expecting in terms of your occupation, if you intend to occupy that property, it can be had in that location.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I guess too, you know, when we look at other infrastructural needs, hospitals, you know, maybe schools for younger persons, and so on, those are crucial inputs. Now, where are you seeing the pockets of demand when we look at our market in Jamaica, the housing market?
Well, it's widespread. It's widespread. Coming from the diaspora community, though, I think there's a lot of interest in Kingston, which is generally the primary location. We find that there's a strong interest in the North Coast, and this has always been, but it's actually spanning now outside the boundaries of Ocho to Montego Bay. We are seeing in Portland, we are seeing St. Mary, and to the western end, we are seeing Hanover as a major area of development. So the demand is widespread. And I find that even on the South Coast, because you would have, I think in our Diaspora Expo, the last one this weekend, we had a presentation from Morelands, and they are doing some good work out in Western Jamaica, in Lacovia, St. Elizabeth, and in Westmoreland. So it is really, as you mentioned before, in terms of the product, I think the product is the pull right now. When the location is always a factor, and we know the value of location, but the product is making the difference right now. When the developers put these products together, people are actually looking into or finding interest in those locations to say, well, I didn't know that this area was so attractive. Sometimes it's just a matter of exposure and personal preferences. So it is widespread. And if you think of the parish, there is a development in that parish for all sectors of the market. There was also a presentation from another developer in our expo for Glenmore Manor. And this is a middle-income development in Clarendon. A lot of people are afraid of Clarendon, but this is a beautiful product, gated community, 3 and 2 bedroom standalone units. And I think the prices are about 24 million Jamaican started, and they go and it goes up. So, you know, it is widespread.
Well, I think that's a good thing, because as you've said, a lot of the demand has been concentrated in Kingston and St. Andrew because we have that gated product.
Yeah.
You know, persons have traditionally probably, you know, pushed their preference there for safety reasons. Mm-hmm. But if you look at, you know, having the country outdoor, you know, lifestyle, I think many persons still miss that. And so what we're probably seeing is developers responding to that demand by bringing the same gated amenity type infrastructure into traditionally rural communities, and you know, making it more of a win-win in the sense of adjusting.
You find that there, if you look at the number of country clubs that have emerged over the past 5 to 10 years, you know, everybody going up Draxall Country Club, everybody's putting up a country club, Caberna's Country Club. So that rustic feel, along with the security and the amenities that we're accustomed to in Kingston and on the North Coast, it's really working in the rural community.
Well, that's a good sign. And as you've said, that will help further to spur economic development and also raise living standards.
Definitely.
So Jermaine, for somebody, a family or someone who is thinking of investing in Jamaica, maybe not returning to live permanently, but maybe to spend, a month there each year, but they want to buy property. How can you and VMBS help in that effort?
Well, as mentioned before in this show, we have offices in the United States, we have offices in Canada, we have offices in the UK. I would encourage people to make contact with these offices. I will share those contact information. I wish I had this here so I could bring it up on the screen. But I'll try that shortly. But yes, we provide financing in the same way we do it for our locals. Our system is slightly different from what exists in these developed countries, but it is based on our laws here. It's a little bit more time consuming that people are accustomed to in the diaspora, but it is, as I said, it is according to our laws, and it really, makes sense for us based on how we operate as is now. That is the best we can do. But we offer 90% financing. We will do a regular credit check, just like what is done in the developed countries. We'll ask you to declare your income expenditure. The mortgage will be determined based on your ability to repay. So that level of financing would ease the burden for those in the diaspora community for that previously probably would have to figure out how they could come up with all these monies at once to make a cash purchase. So no longer you have to depend on a cash purchase. You can come to us at Victoria Mutual, and we have a mortgage solution for you once all the criteria are met.
That's good. And what I am gathering, Jermaine, is if you can borrow in Jamaican dollars and you're earning in US dollars or pounds or Canadian dollars, invariably and historically, the Jamaican dollar value will over time depreciate against these other currencies. So once you can, sustain your cash flow, sustain your income, and you have the ability to borrow with relatively low equity, then there's an opportunity for everyone. Over time, you'll build up equity fairly steadily because your earning power will actually, your fixed income will actually grow in Jamaican dollar terms, and give you the ability to sustain that acquisition. So it would seem now is a time demand continues to exceed supply, and the product is improving, has become more attractive. So and as we say, nowhere better than home.
Than home. You have touched some very important points there. As we mentioned, the exchange rate, the devaluation of the dollar, the improved products, the increased construction activity. And let's not forget that the infrastructure build out in Jamaica is also improving, where we have highways that are taking you from one point to the next in drastically reduced time. So, that's another plus. We are always known for our beautiful beaches. We have so much natural attractions now in Jamaica that, you don't necessarily have to go to a hotel to enjoy some of the beauties of this country. So, it's all happening right here in Jamaica. We encourage everybody to look into the option of purchasing a piece of the rock. We enjoy tropical weather all year round. There's no winter here.
No shoveling of snow.
No shoveling of snow. You get to wear your t-shirt outside all year round. So, no place like home. And even if you have never been a resident of Jamaica, it's worth looking into. It's worth looking into.
I agree, and I should also add to that, Jermaine, even our tax regime, we don't have the higher rates of capital gains as in other countries, in the UK in particular. So if you're selling your investment to move into another investment, you're not faced with those inordinately high taxes. So a lot of benefits. I know Jamaica, you know, at times we look inwards and we see all the problems, but
Yeah.
you know, you just need to spend some time outside. You realize that things are not as bad as we try to make it.
I definitely agree with that. It's important that you mention the taxes, because the taxes associated with a real estate transaction in Jamaica, those were reduced drastically, I think in 2019.
In
So,
April 2019.
yeah, so you're looking now at a flat 2,500 Jamaican dollar for stamp duty,
Yeah,
right? And then
transfer
transfer taxes
2% from
2%
5%.
from 5%. So it's so much easier and less expensive to get into a real estate transaction than it was before. So that also adds to the picture that we are painting, that now is the time to invest in real estate in Jamaica.
Well, Jermaine, thank you very much. I appreciate your enthusiasm, our belief in Jamaica and the housing market. And as you have said, we encourage the diaspora community to reach out to VMBS, reach out to you, Jermaine. You're a realtor as well, so I'm sure you have your listings, and
Definitely.
you'd be happy to facilitate anyone with interest. And maybe if you want, you can share your numbers.
Yeah. So before I go, I would like to share our website address, which is VMPS. That's Victoria Mutual Property Services, VMPSrealestate.com. We are a member of the Realtors Association of Jamaica. So by accessing our website, you would have access to the multi-listing system. And this is where you will see all the listings from other real estate brokerages in the country. So that is VMPSrealestate.com. Our office number here is 876-929-2283. So I repeat, 876-929-2283. Once you call our office, you will be put onto a capable and very experienced realtor who will help you to find that home for you, be it for personal occupation or for investment. My number is 876-551-7585. So that's 876-551-7585. As mentioned before, I'm not taking up too much of the time, we have representative offices in Florida, New York, and the UK, and there's also an office in Canada. I will share the toll-free numbers right now. So for Florida, our toll-free number is 1-877-770-VMBS. Very simple. So 1-877-770-VMBS. For New York, it is 1-866-967-VMBS. So just remember, the last 4 digits is VMBS, right? And in the UK, it's a slight difference because, you know, UK uses a lot more numbers than everybody else. So there's actually 3 numbers for UK, but I'll share one. Once you get through to one phone line, you can ask them to transfer you to the other location. So let me share for Brixton. It is 020-7738-6799. So that's 020-7738-6799. Thanks for that plug, Robert.
Jermaine, thank you. It was a pleasure having you, and I'm sure we'll have you on a program very soon where you can share some more of the positive and great things that yourself and VMBS is doing and has to offer. Thanks again. Until now, all the best from Home and Away, Jamaica.
And thanks Home and Away, Jamaica, to having us and having us share the experience of Jamaica with the diaspora community.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
TV, bam bam, on the street, bam bam, in the class, bam bam, then a preacher, bam bam.